You are listening to the Objects of Affection collection. Study 7, The Architect of the Unlined Suit, a study on Giorgio Armani. How a rebellion against rigid form created a new structure for the body, reshaping the modern world with an enduring philosophy of effortless elegance. The world has a history of cultural architects who, with quiet genius, fundamentally change our perception of an entire industry. Giorgio Armani stands among them. His work was not merely fashion. It was a profound restructuring of how the human body could move, breathe, and exist in clothing. Though he is rarely positioned in the discourse of the post-luxury movement, Armani embodied many of its principles decades before the term took root. Restraint, clarity, and the elevation of comfort as a form of dignity. His passing today marks the end of a singular, relentless pursuit of a vision that transcended conventional boundaries and redefined the very essence of the built world of clothing. What he accomplished was a radical act of innovation, a reimagining of form and function that shifted not just wardrobes but worldviews. The architecture of the unlined suit Armani was not an inventor of fleeting novelties. His genius lay in his ability to strip away excess, to find the essence of form, and to refine it until it was inevitable. He became a master of synthesis, bringing together fabric, cut, and color in ways that felt both new and timeless. Where others chased trends, Armani pursued purity. His understanding of fabric was forensic. Linen, silk, wool, each was studied, reworked, and presented with an eye for tactility as much as for appearance. He married this mastery of material with a minimalist vocabulary, muted colors, clean lines, and subtle gestures. What might have seemed austere instead became sensuous because his focus was always on how the body lived inside the garment. From this core discipline, Armani built an empire. Accessories, eyewear, cosmetics, home interiors, even hotels, all became extensions of a single aesthetic vision. His work was not about diversification for profit, but about expanding a philosophy across domains of life. The Armani total look became more than clothing. It was a worldview, an insistence on consistency, restraint, and clarity in an era intoxicated by excess. And yet, Armani's humility was striking. He resisted claims that his work was art, insisting instead that it was clothing for real people. The irony is that in this very act of denial he affirmed his artistry. His was art without ornament, art that dissolved into life itself. In an age where brands often drown in their own desire for novelty, Armani stood as proof that timelessness can be the most radical of rebellions. His legacy is not a trend or a fleeting silhouette, but a clear, enduring vision. That elegance is found in ease, that clothing should liberate, not restrain, and that true innovation lies not in excess, but in synthesis. The cultural architect to call Armani merely a fashion designer is to miss the scope of his achievement. He was, in every sense, an architect not of buildings but of human presence. Where architects sculpt space to shelter life, Armani sculpted fabric to dignify it. He created a new structural language, one that allowed the body to exist without burden, to move with confidence, to breathe. This is why his work endures, because it was never about novelty but about the permanent conditions of being human. He understood that clothing, like architecture, is a frame through which life is lived. If Mies van der Rohe taught us that less is more in glass and steel, Armani proved it could be equally true in silk and wool. The unlined suit will remain his cathedral, a quiet revolution of fabric and form. But beyond the garment, his legacy is a philosophy that true elegance comes not from rigidity but from freedom, not from the weight of excess but from the grace of restraint. Armani did not just design clothes, he reimagined what it meant to inhabit them. And in doing so, he reshaped the modern world. Authored by Christopher Banks, anthropologist of luxury and critical theorist. Office of Critical Theory and Curatorial Strategy, Objects of Affection Collection. This has been a study from the Objects of Affection Collection, a critical art research institution operating under the framework of post-luxury conceptual functional art. Read the full research at objectsofaffectioncollection.com.